All right, last but not least, Pisces. Welcome to your June 2026 tarot reading. So I'm going to shuffle up these cards and see what comes up for you. All right, so first off, we have the Two of Cups. Keep forgetting my camera is down here. Page of Cups. The Four of Swords. The Six of Pentacles. And the Queen of Swords. Okay, so I think you're coming into a hard-won place of rest for a while here. Like you have been dealing with a lot, maybe working very hard, putting a lot of time and energy into things, and suddenly, finally, there's this sense of like, all right, I can take a break, I can rest for a while. There's this sudden feeling that just kind of comes up of just, okay, like things are taken care of at least for now. I don't have to worry. There's just I feel like you've just been working really hard, putting a lot of time and energy into things, and just finally coming to this point where you can take a breath and slow down. And even if whatever you've been working on is a project or a job or whatever it is, it's been almost like there's kind of this general sense of like it's for my own good. I have to do this. It kind of sucks. It's a lot. It's overwhelming, but I know that there is a good reason for doing all of this. But thank God it's done with for now. And there may be a kind of a sense of like there's things are being taken care of kind of for you in some ways right now. Maybe there's somebody in your life that's kind of helping take care of you in some way so that um, you can kind of take a breather for a while. Well, that was a really straightforward pull. So let's pull some more cards and see what else we can get. Okay. All right. So what else do we have here? Six of Swords, Three of Wands, Five of Pentacles. This is a complete, total, stark contrast to what we were just talking about. The Eight of Swords, Strength. Let me pull one more here. And the Hanged Man. All right, so even though you have now come to a place where you can take a breath, there's a place of rest, but there's a general sense that, like, it still isn't over. There's more to be done. Whatever you have embarked upon or decided to put your time and energy into, it's a very long and grueling process that it's just a lot of work that takes a long time. I don't know specifically what this may be. It's like a project or school or uh, I mean, it could be literally anything, but it takes a lot out of you. It requires a lot of focus. And there may be this general sense of like, I don't know if I can do this. If the future is going to be just as hard as the past, if not harder, even though it's been, there's a good reason for putting all this time and effort into this, there's a general sense of like, I don't know if I can keep up. I don't know if I can do this or if I even want to do this. But this really, it's not necessarily rooted in anything like true. It's kind of based in a belief. Maybe even on some level, there's an underlying feeling of, do I even deserve to complete whatever this is I'm doing? Reap the benefits or the rewards? Um, and combined with also maybe a difficulty with slowing down. If you've been super busy and focused on things for a long time, putting tons of effort and work, and having like a very strict routine, which for Pisces is already a difficult thing, kind of against your normal nature. Um, so it requires an added effort. Um, there's a difficulty in stopping, slowing down. So even when you have time to rest and relax, there's still this kind of the gears are still spinning, and it takes a while for the momentum to wind down. And there might even be a reluctance to allow that rest to happen because you know that eventually you're going to have to start the gears up again, and it's going to be tough because I've noticed some signs they have trouble shifting gears. I do. I know that. If I'm active and doing a lot, I want to keep being active and doing a lot. And then when it's time to slow down, it takes a while for me to kind of shift gears. And then when it's time to get up and start moving around and doing a lot again, it's hard to get moving again. So it's difficult to shift gears and um, more difficult for some signs than others. Um, but either way, um, I guess really what this is saying here is that you do have the strength to get through whatever it may be. There's just some maybe a little bit of self doubt going down, a little bit of worry about the future, about how much you're going to have to do, how much farther you still have to go in whatever your venture or project may be. But, you know, as of right now, there's not much you can really do. I mean, the best thing you can do, really, if this reading is resonating with you, is to just stop. Like, don't worry about what's coming next. You'll handle that as it comes. If you spend all your time, all your downtime, and all the time that you have to yourself, whatever freedom you may have, you spend that whole time worrying about what's coming next, you're not going to be energy, you're not going to recharge enough to be able to handle it in a way that's going to like feel good and natural to you. There's just a reluctance, I think if there's a fear about what's coming next or how much effort you're going to have to do or difficulty slowing down, just that's all in your head. It's not based on anything actually factual. It'll be probably better than you're imagining it will be. And maybe there's a person or maybe even just a voice in your own mind, kind of like me, who is telling you all these things, whispering these ideas in your head about like you know, the nature of reality. The reality is a projection of consciousness. You might not even, do I even need to work so hard if there's all this weird manifestation process happening and the things all I have to do is really work on these internal things and then the external reality will shift. Well, the two aren't necessarily mutually exclusive. I mean, it depends on the path that's available to you and which path you want to go down. Trying to control things like trying to force a path forward that is not available to you to be open, that's probably going to end up turning into chasing your own tail. But when the universe presents ideas, pathways, possibilities to you where you actually have the ability to act on those things, some of those pathways involve a whole hell of a lot of work and a lot of time and effort. Some of them not so much. And things change over time. Um, but yeah, I generally the sense I think that's coming up here is this sort of just kind of worrying about what's next and having to put in so much work again into some project that's again going to probably take a long time to get where you want to go. But I think that if you're able to sort of trust yourself, believe that you have the ability to handle whatever this may come at you, and that you'll be more prepared for this if you rest and stop than you will be if you constantly keep working and trying to prepare and force things. Like if you've got a moment, take it, because it might be once that's over, it might be a little while before you get it again. So, anyways, maybe I'll pull a couple more cards. Let me shuffle these again. The Moon, the High Priestess, Justice, and the Tower. Oops. Okay. Okay, so the Moon is always an interesting card. It's kind of indicating that there is an energy in your nervous system, like an emotional energy that's kind of from something in the past, something that happened maybe a long time ago that kind of just left this emotional residue in you. It's like a form of trauma. And the moon generally means that sort of you're feeling that sort of energy come up and then allowing it to shift your self perspective, your self perception. You're seeing yourself in a distorted light, maybe believing certain things about yourself that are not true, probably like negative in nature. And this sort of period of stillness and silence that's being sort of recommended, justice tends to be like it's like the ultimate energy of this is for your own good, even if it's not comfortable. It's the sword that mercilessly cuts away that which is not necessary and doesn't really care if it hurts. Um, but it's kind of suggesting like silence, inner silence, facing like quieting your mind, observing whatever these feelings and emotions may be. If you're having some self doubt or negative thoughts about yourself, just observe that energy and let it sort of kind of break down. Maybe if it needs to make you cry, go ahead and do that because that's just that energy leaving your body. But yeah, so there's maybe some restlessness and discomfort and reluctance to slow down and just stop and rest for several different reasons. Um, but I think the main reason is that there's this feeling in there. There's something going on inside that's kind of messing with your head and making you see things in a negative light, particularly when it comes to your view of yourself. And there's a need to stop and address this and look at it and let it process and let it heal, or else it's going to continue to kind of eat away at you in the background, and it's going to make whatever journey you're going on next a lot less pleasant, because this thing will still be in the back of your mind, kind of eating up resources, like an app on your phone that just won't turn off and just keeps processing information, but it's not really doing anything to help. Um, Anyways, I think I'm going to leave it at that. Check out my website, order readings, like, subscribe if you want to. Thanks for watching. I'll talk to you next time. Take care.